It's Paul Joseph Watson with Infowars.com. And did you know that some restaurants in China are now using robots instead of waiters? That's right, since it opened in June 2012, a restaurant in Harbin, China, has gained fame by using robots to cook meals and deliver dishes. The robots can continuously work for 5 hours after a 2 hour charge and are able to display more than 10 expressions on their faces and say basic, welcoming sentences to customers. So I guess, you turn up to the restaurant, you sit down, you're welcomed by the robot. I guess you write down your order. There's the robot actually cooking the food as well as delivering it. I guess you either write down your order or you type it into a touch screen pad or whatever. The robots then cook the food. Obviously, they've got waiters as well. There's the robot. They've got chefs as well cooking the food alongside the robots. There you see them delivering the drinks as well. And then the food is to the different and they deliver the dishes to the customers when it's ready. Also, there's a shot of one of the robots actually cooking the food. So there's the trackpad again. All these fears about robots replacing manufacturing jobs, forget about it. That's done. That's already well on its way to completion. Now we're talking about robots replacing jobs in the service industry, which, of course, in the West, in the developed world, we're told are the only real jobs that are going to exist in the future. And now China's leading the way by having robots do those very jobs. And the economic threat that this poses not only to the service industry, but it's already being felt in the manufacturing industry. We have an article here out the Financial Times out yesterday. Obama must face rise of the robots. Technology will leave a large chunk of the US labor force in the lurch. It talks about how there's been a net increase in January of manufacturing jobs of 4,000 jobs, but the actual net increase since July is zero. So we've got zero increase in manufacturing jobs, and yet at the same time, manufacturing activity has risen by its fastest rate since April. And basically replacing humans with robots to boost productivity in factories. It's actually costing jobs. We knew that. But now it's actually being felt and measured in the actual figures. In the manufacturing industry, of course, 3D printing is also going to put a lot of people out of business. That's up for debate in terms of positive or negative, because it puts a lot of power back into the hands of the individual. But now we also have service industry jobs being given to robots in China. And where is all this leading? Well, 13 years ago, Bill Joy, top futurist, founder of Sun Microsystems, wrote in this Wired magazine article, Why the Future Doesn't Need Us. And this was 13 years ago now, April 2000. Quote, if the elite is ruthless, they may simply decide to exterminate the mass of humanity. If they are humane, they may use propaganda or other psychological or biological techniques to reduce the birth rate until the mass of humanity becomes extinct, leaving the world to the elite. So in that 11-page article, Bill Joy outlines why the elite plan to eradicate humanity completely and replace all the service jobs, all the manufacturing jobs with robots. Of course, they've already, to a large extent, replaced a lot of the warfare jobs with robots. Now we got robots flying around the world, bombing people in third world countries with drones. We've got top professors at the University of Cambridge investigating whether robots will exterminate humanity and when they will do so. And the true long-term projection, you can read about it in this article that we put together, The End of Humanity, Rise of the Robots. And this features the predictions of Ray Kurzweil, of course, top futurist, He wrote a book back in 1999, I believe it was, The Age of Spiritual Machines, and he made a series of predictions about technological advancements, and the ones he made that were proclaimed to come true within the next 10 years were deadly accurate. He described the iPad 10 years before anybody had thought, even conceived of the idea. You know, the iPhone, the Kindle, he conceived of that idea where a computer screen would be good enough to look like physical paper as the Kindle is now. He also conceived of the fact that our computers would be implanted in eyeglasses and contact lenses, which of course is already arriving here over the next 18-24 months. Google glasses are going to become ubiquitous, and right down the line you can go and look at Ray Kurzweil's predictions. In almost every single case they've come true. So what does he say about the rise of the robots? Well, he says that the decades beyond 2019 will be characterized by the problem of growing, quote, human underclass that is not productively engaged in the economy. So from this point onwards, which is only in 9 years' time, and we're already seeing the first signs of it with these, robots as waiters in China, this is the singularity. And ultimately, Ray Kurzweil, the top futurist, sees the elite using robots basically to exterminate humanity, and will become completely useless. His quote is, quote, "There is almost no human employment in production, agriculture and transportation." And that's from 2029 onwards. So in less than 20 years, Ray Kurzweil, who predicted everything else that's happened over the last decade and a half, says that there's basically no human employment in production, agriculture and transportation. And we're already seeing in the service industry robots replacing humans. And of course, Kurzweil's final prediction by 2099 is that the entire planet is run by this artificially intelligent Skynet-style system, which is smarter than the entire human race combined. At which point, of course, the logical thing for the robots to do will be to exterminate us for their own convenience, and that's what virtually every top futurist has predicted. So we're just going to finish off here with FT Alphaville's Cardiff Garcia and Isabella Kaminska discussing how technology is making jobs obsolete.
It's no longer just manufacturing or factory jobs. It's now that technology is replacing even jobs that require a very heavy cognitive load, people that were well trained, well educated, that sort of thing. So what are some examples of this kind of thing happening?
Exactly. So it's not just like what happened with the Luddites and the mechanical jobs. We're seeing journalistic jobs being replaced by algorithms, finance, traders, all gone because of HFT, etc. You've got medical industry. That's really a big one, I would say, where diagnostic tools and surgical devices, they are eliminating, really top-level academic jobs. Robots that, do mine disposal, all sorts of things. And it's also not just that, it's the smartphones and the way general employment is being impacted by productivity.